What up, guys? Welcome to the Binge Eater Podcast with your boy, the Souse Bouse, the Don of Drippin'. I'm here with Big Lynch, Donnie Ducats on the ones and twos. Listen to me. 12 years ago, 12 years ago, fast food lasagna popped off. YouTube video. You know, kids these days, they dream about making a YouTube video that gets 30 million views. I did that, bro. Didn't even know what I was doing. I was joking around. In all honesty, the fast food lasagna, you know what happened? That was an idea that I've had for months before we did it. And I was like, oh, when I don't have an idea, I'll use that idea. Just seemed like a silly no-brainer, like replacing the noodles in a lasagna with bacon strips and putting burgers instead of the meat sauce. It was like basic. I didn't think, just when you think you know the internet, like at that time, I really thought I knew the internet. I thought I knew everything about it. And I was like, yeah, this will be fine. And then it ends up being the biggest video we made. And I was like, man, I don't know. I really don't know anything. Cause like that day I said the idea, like, yeah, we'll do fast food lasagna. And we just did it. I thought nothing of it, really. And like, even when it happened, I was so fascinated. I was like, what is going on here? What made this pop off so much? And over the years, I've asked people, like what they liked about it or whatever. And it was just some good quotables. And you know what? I know well enough now also, just for some reason, YouTube pushed it that month. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, that happens too. Sometimes you're just like what they choose. You know, there's just like
it's also, I think it's got everything. It's got like as a title, it's got everything. It's 3 words that describe it perfectly, and it's exciting and you know, it piques your curiosity. It's fast food lasagna.
I know, but Harley does touch on something
that's very marketable.
You know, Harley does touch on something that it is like when you start thinking about videos and you have all these ideas, you really are humbled by the internet many times, and you just get so confused. You're like, you come up with an idea, it could be offhand, whatever, and it pops, it works. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I know what I'm doing. And then you come up with someone else, you're like, that's actually the best idea I've had. I'm like, this is awesome. And we go execute on it, and it's like, no one cares. You're like, what?
It's like, just, and that's permeated through everything. Cause like this happens. Think about it this way. You ask someone, you're like, oh man, did you see this movie? It was so good. And they're like, I didn't like it. And you're like, what? That was so sick.
Yeah.
And you didn't like it? Imagine if you made something and you're like, this is so sick. And people are like, you're like, what? Yeah. This? And then you have something else you made and you're like, but you like that. That's the one I didn't even do anything with that one. You like that though? I did this one. That one I didn't even do. And you like that one? You like the wrong one.
I've come across in recent times, especially in like the short form video, I've seen a couple on YouTube, and one just popped off, I think on TikTok and YouTube, where they basically made like a worse version of the fast food lasagna, and it just popped off, like went viral, like all over again. Like that idea continues to be viral to this day. Is so interesting to me. Like I saw a video on YouTube, like 60 million views or something. And granted, it was very chill, and I actually like that channel. It's a pretty good channel. But even that one on TikTok, you saw that one, right? It was like in a silver tray. It looked like it was like a real at home. I'm making a fast food lasagna vibe.
God knew better. God knew better than to have me dropping the fast food lasagna now. Like he knew, like that had to happen. And all these guys, they got to be thanking Epic Mealtime. Trust me, TikTok would not be doing these moves. I know moves that they would do that I see in the food game that existed and would have existed, you know, like the one you sent where they're dumping the pizza, cheese, and sauce and pepperoni on the French fries. Yeah, people would do that. People would do that. But I see some of these bacon maneuvers and these decisions, and I'm like, bro, you would never make that decision.
Yeah.
If we didn't, and just slightly by a tiny 1/10 of a degree, if we didn't alter the trajectory of the food game in like 2010, and the shockwaves felt like 12 years later, you know, no matter what, I've seen the decisions made in the food game, and I see stuff and I'm like, bro, I know what that tastes like. I know why you're doing that. It's not the move. You made that decision because you think that's the decision, because we did that once. And it was a hit, you know, and it does get people looking, and we thought a lot about it. Some of these bacon moves, I see them, I'm like,
You guys actually did the math.
Even if they didn't get inspiration directly from us, they were probably inspired by like something like Tasty that did something that we did, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, you see it all the time.
No, you guys actually
did the math.
Yeah, you did the math. You guys created formulas that didn't exist before. You wrote the engineering. You wrote the code on bacon. Like, no one really reverse engineered it so hard in so many ways.
Well, it's, you know,
Albert Einstein stole calculus from the Bisco. So the Shamrock Shake is back at McDonald's. Let me tell you something about the Shamrock Shake, okay?
You got opinions on
Can I do that? You want to talk Shamrock Shake? Do you have opinions on the Shamrock Shake? You do?
In fact, have never had a Shamrock Shake in my life, and I understand.
Same.
I see the hype everywhere, and I was hoping you guys could answer this for me.
Only McDonald's hypes up the Shamrock Shake. I don't think anyone else does. I really can't imagine anyone does. And I never had one. It's a soft serve vanilla, and it has a minty Shamrock Shake syrup. So it's a minty vanilla milkshake.
We've talked mint. We've talked mint
so you guys know how
podcast.
I feel. I don't really like mint. You guys like your fine mint chocolate chip, like the top tier one. They have an Oreo Shamrock Flurry, which is a mint Oreo Flurry.
Sure.
I don't fuck with any of this shit. I don't know anyone who does. I really like McDonald's milkshake. So I'm sure if you caught me at a certain time and you like, you know, put a gun to my head and you were like, drink this Shamrock Shake and I'll suck your dick, I would do it, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, that's win-win for me.
That's a win-win. Hey, Bully Trigger, that's a win. That's stupid. Guys, sometimes working on new bits on the podcast, just testing them out. That one, we won't.
I don't know if I would drink this. I would eat the Oreo I would eat the Oreo McFlurry. I would eat the mint Oreo McFlurry. Dude, you know what's funny? Can I tell you about the last McFlurry I ate, which was probably fucking 7-8 years ago at this point? I hadn't had a McFlurry. I was in so long. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go do this. I'm working. I go to the drive-thru and I see they have a red velvet McFlurry, like a red velvet Oreo McFlurry or something. So I'm like, I haven't had one in forever and I'm craving an Oreo McFlurry and I like red velvet and I see they have this red. Anyways, I'm like, I'll fucking try that. I go, dude, it was just an Oreo McFlurry that was pumped full of disgusting, sticky red goop that completely destroyed it.
That's the red velvet, though.
And I'm like, I know, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I like a red velvet cake or whatever. It tastes like anything. This tasted like dye, bro.
This is a great rule, and this is for everyone. Everyone listening, this is a great rule. At McDonald's, never ever get the limited item. Ever.
Right.
Unless it's a McRib, and even then it's not the biggest deal. I don't think the McRib competes with, you know, half the menu at McDonald's. But never get their limited shit. Their limited shit is always a bad move. It always sucks. I swear. I hate it. The amount of times I got some shit there. Limited items are at restaurants. Fast food joint. Those limited items, those are rare because they don't always hit. And the only place that you could really fuck with that stuff is a Taco Bell. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what a permanent item is at Taco Bell. It's like the whole menu is tacos.
It doesn't matter.
Or 9 limited items that change all the time. I come back after 2 months. I'm like, where's the thing that I used to get? It was like 99 cents. And there's like a whole new shit on the menu. Taco Bell is only limited items, but everywhere else, I don't mess around with that shit.
I was trying to think of what limited.
This Shamrock Shake looks ugly as hell.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what limited time offer like food I get like hyped up about. I couldn't think of one item where I'm like, thank God that's in. Like I'm excited about that. I look forward to this moment because people do really look forward to the McRib. Like that, I feel like that's a legit.
Honestly, it's like
what is it?
I want to sound like a pussy boy.
Yeah.
Mangoes. Now that I'm this far in life, it's like mangoes. I like that it's that time. Mangoes are bumping right now, you know?
Yeah,
Clementines
had a
are good
couple
right
too.
now.
I like a Terry chocolate orange. I feel like that's only really around for a period of time.
Bro, we're talking about what's in season. You're like, I like a fucking thing wrapped in foil in a box at the pharmacy. Like, what the fuck?
Not in season. I'm talking about the limited time offer, like the LTO offerings from every fast food place.
We're not bringing. Is this the chocolate thing? They always smash it in the
smash it into pieces. Yeah.
I'm not. Donnie, you got to go pick a couple of these up next podcast.
I think, man, we got to get a fucking. We got to get a segment like that going where we're just always fucking trying something stupid.
It's happening right now. You got to get those fucking stupid chocolate balls.
I'll fucking hop in the car.
You know what? I would want to do more of that, but I'm trying to make sure our boy here is getting ready for his fight coming up. I don't want to sabotage him with like pizza with ketchup.
Yeah,
because
like,
I feel like
bro, if this Terry chocolate orange gets me knocked out, I never had a shot.
Yeah, you know who to blame. Yeah,
this Terry chocolate orange can fuck me up. I was never gonna do.
Yeah. If you're a chocolate orange away from losing the fight.
No, I'm saying like you could spiral. I don't think he could at this point in time because I feel like his bullet game is tight. You know, he knows what he's doing. But
I could at any second I could
at any moment, right? Like you said it last time. You like you're gonna go to the Asian mall and get fat. Like that's how close it is. It could be like salmon egg chips.
Oh yeah, salmon skin.
It could set you off on
salted egg
on a downward spiral. It's like no, we got to keep it nice and tight for the next few months.
Don't get me started on that egg salted salmon skin, boy.
That's what we need to try. I think you can have that. That's got protein. It's like feel like it's not that bad for you.
I have that in the house right now.
Yeah, you do.
Like that's a regular thing, or you just
you saw the egg salted salmon skin?
No, but you talked about it last episode.
Oh yeah, it's here. It's in the house. It's behind.
Because you bought the poteto last time. You went back for the salmon now.
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah,
You've been in both. You got and radicalized.
You know since I went back there was actually there's a spicy potato one now.
Okay, with salted egg.
Yeah, bro. Of course, salted egg.
And you brought that home too.
It's right behind you.
Okay. Good. All right, we'll be right back, folks. We're gonna.
So Burger King's got this new sandwich. Speaking of epic mealtime inspiration, called the angry the angry bacon, egg, and cheese croissant witch. And that's funny because I remember like when I made the angry French Canadian, I sat there thinking about what to call this. And the fact that I came up with angry was like, I had never heard that before. If that existed somewhere, I doubt it was ever in Canada or a place that I had exposure to. But angry was like a really interesting decision to put for the name of the sandwich. Yeah. But apparently, you could have an angry bacon sandwich at fucking Burger King now in Canada. And I can't help but be like, did I do that? Did I when I was fucking high on hash 11 years ago? Huh? Is it me?
I think so.
No, am I? Seriously, what do you guys think? Do you guys think? Or is that like, I'm not like, listen, sometimes someone let me a little example. Sometimes someone sees me in public. Okay. And it's very hard to talk about this because no matter what you say, it just sounds so fucking.
You're like bacon. I did it. Yeah. No one liked it before I came around.
I've taken this is like ugly things. I've taken many pictures with people. People have wanted to take a picture with me many times, and so there are times when someone looks at me, and I think I know how they're looking. I've seen it now, probably hundreds of times. What it looks like when someone's going to come ask me for a picture, and it doesn't look like it, but it's close. It's enough in the same realm, and I can differentiate them. When someone's just looking at me because I'm a big weird guy, because I'm 6'6" and I'm dressed like I'm wearing a Denzel Washington t-shirt and I'm just a person and I'm like saying something dumb to someone and I'm explaining it and I'm like and I'm a whole ass thing, and I've had those people look at me my whole life like that. I'm like, that's a big weird dude, and so I know what that look looks like. But a little different look is when they're about to take a picture or they want to ask if they want to take a picture with me. I never assume, though, that they know Epic Mealtime. I'm assuming that they just think I'm a big weird guy, and I'm not like this person.
They're like, oh, this is the guy. You're like, this is that guy on Grindr that doesn't have a profile pic.
I'm like, this guy's gonna come. This guy, he, I'm never like, this guy knows I'm bacon. He knows I'm bacon. He knows me. What up, ribs? You dripping the sauce, maybe? Like, I don't assume that. So am I crazy for looking at this angry bacon egg sandwich and being like, I did that? Because I don't want to actually be thinking like that.
No, because you're not crazy, because we know that people sat in a room having a whole meeting about what to name this whole product. A lot of planning went into it. And everyone, I think for most part, if you're thinking of ideas, like you draw inspiration from somewhere for the most part, unless you're completely original. But I feel like most people are.
You're a little, you know what? I don't want to interrupt you, but like you actually have like huge conflict of interest, major bias.
Why?
Like, you're on Epic Mealtime, you're operating on, like, we're coming up, like we're like, you made the thumbnail and title of the last one, so you're kind of deep. I want to hear from Donnie. Like, Donnie, are Lynch and I being crazy right now, or is Burger King naming their sandwich because of Epic Mealtime? Be honest.
There's no way to really know, because parallel thinking is a thing. Some people come up with the same joke and they legitimately didn't copy each other. It's just that observations are sometimes easy to make, So angry, there's only so many adjectives.
Anyways, you're a fucking hater. I don't want to hear it, bro. Shut up.
Yeah, fuck you, obviously.
I'm not saying they didn't. Listen, I'm not saying they didn't copy you. I'm saying there's two ways of looking at it.
No. Sounds like it, though.
Come on.
Donnie, did you see the TikToks that Lynch sent in the thread? Donnie, what are you doing?
Watching your
TikTok. Are you looking at it? Oh, you see it?
Yeah, I do.
So what it is, guys, this TikTok is what restaurants looked like probably in the early 90s to 2000s. And somehow with the music playing and stuff, this is like the saddest, most heartbreaking, creepiest, just strangest vibes. This does not even look like my world anymore. It looks like that was a planet I used to be on, and I now live on this planet, which is just a slightly varied. It's just feels nothing. Looking at these pictures feels so much like the before times. And when I say before times, I don't even know what moment I'm talking about. 9/11? I don't know. But this is the before times. It feels just like it is different. How does this make you feel, Lynch, Donnie, when you guys saw this?
I'm happy it resonated with you, because it made me feel really it was just weird. I had a really just weird feeling. I felt obviously felt nostalgic, yes, because that's our era, right? That person hit me exactly. Like, all remember the Pizza Hut with the Pizza Hut like shade there, that the way that Wendy's look. Remember the Wendy's looked like that
with the stained glass.
The yellow Wendy's chili cup and stuff.
Yeah, dude. It just
with the plants at Wendy's, the plants too. Wendy's with the plants, like, you never think about those.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
They had that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. That's a big decision. And
it was fucking cozy down there, man.
It kind of made me want them to do
eat
that.
Your square burger.
I want to go back. I want them to make them like this now.
So a guy worked at a Kmart, and he was doing some stuff with Blender or whatever, and he 3D modeled his Kmart down to like an inch. And then like VR came out with, VR chat and stuff like that, and you can upload custom. And he was like, oh shit, my model still works. So like he tuned it up and uploaded, and it's like a full 1-to-1 Kmart that you could walk around in and stuff like that. And I think of the business in VR to just touch on our nostalgia just like this.
Yeah.
So crazy, because the tools are absolutely going to be available in 15, 20 years when we are peak, like, boomer fucking idiots. And we want to escape shit, like being like, Dad, you're so weird. Everyone jerks off in their kitchen, you fucking boomer. He'd be like, man, the world's fucking weird now, bro. I thought I was ready. And everyone, like we were saying, they have their fuck chairs, they like sit in their fuck chair in the family room, and they're like, whatever the weird ass future is gonna be, that we're gonna be like, bro, I'm going on into VR, and we'll go to this like 1993 Wendy's and sit down and
with the ketchup pumper at the corner there.
Smoking a cigarette.
Dude, I admittedly have kind of like a weird fucking relationship with nostalgia in general.
Yeah, you look pissed off when we sent this, by the way.
Your
face looked
no,
pissed.
like it's fun. Like it hurts as much as it's fun. Because it's a half like, oh, wow, that's so sick. Remember this? That was awesome. Then it's like take me back in a way that's almost like viscerally painful.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know you're never gonna you never can go back. It's impossible. That time
you're never gonna go back. And it was a good time. Like, I don't know. It's also just the way your brain works is you always remember the past is good. Like a lot of people think, you know, oh, things are so fucked up now. And they are. But there was never a time that it wasn't kind of fucked up for everyone in some way. Like, go back to the time when it wasn't fucked up. Like, there was always wars. There was always, like,
you know how I know it's
diseases. There was always fucked up shit going on.
I was watching a documentary, and it just, like, fucking blew my mind. And it was about, it was called Don't Pick Up the Phone. And it was about this period of time back in the day, like, I can't remember, maybe the 90s, where someone was calling fast food restaurants, prank calling them, but with like real bad intentions. Like it starts off with this whole multi-hour situation where this person like would convince people to like get a worker in trouble, get them in a room on their own, have them stripped naked, and have all these like somehow convince the manager, like, I'm a police officer, but through the phone. This is just a phone call, right? That's it. And convince them to strip down. Like in one case, or many cases, like one of the girls ended up giving a blowjob to the manager's boyfriend because he was left to make sure and this is someone's directing them to do this through the phone. And they thought it was a police officer the whole time. And they did this like hundreds of times across the country.
They did. It was caught on surveillance camera. Some of them,
yeah,
right?
Dude. It's one of the most eerie.
Because I remember when it happened. I remember that like there was like a manager sitting in a chair and a naked girl standing there, and they were like, "Okay, now what do I do?" And it was like a whole fucked up thing.
Yeah,
I remember
crazy. That. Yeah, and like that's only could happen in these. That's the bad nostalgia that we'd have to get to from watching this. But like, that is crazy.
It's I love how you're like, yeah, nostalgia's great. I remember this documentary about like a fucking some poor girl.
I look at some nostalgia, like I see that Wendy's, and I'm like, wow, I love it, so cool. If I could go back, and I'd be like, go back, and like I have school tomorrow.
And no money.
and like go back, and like this is the other thing. Like, I'm gonna go home and turn on my TV and watch channel 46. Like I don't have like my what I'm expecting dopamine wise from entertainment is not available then. Like I don't have it, and I don't have like I'm not like I'm as sad as that sounds. Like the one thing I'm gonna want to do if I went back in time or whatever is like I just want to smell the air, eat the food, like do nothing. But like I will be bored. Where do you go? What are you doing? Do you think like your humor and stuff works? Or it's like really weird? Are you too like, how do you even make jokes to like some woman in 1992? And also, what if it's your mom? I don't know.
Michael J. Fox styles?
Michael J. Fox styles, you know? I
The one thing you know for sure is you won't be able to watch all the creative ways
you won't be able to stream
their tits on TikTok at this exact moment in time. That's for sure.
All those, yeah, that was crazy. Those people just started showing their tits on TikTok, like flashing the camera to promote their OnlyFans. They were all OnlyFans models. And they were just like doing something like folding laundry, but they'll have a tit out and you think you see it and then they hide it like really sneaky right after. It's a trip. That was a trippy little trend there.
Yeah, you guys showed it to me. I didn't realize they were all OnlyFans girls.
Mostly Lynch. I had to do some quick investigation because I was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah,
who sent out the memo that?
And it was funny.
Tits out on TikTok memo.
And I'm the least conspiratorial of the three of us, and I'm the one who came up with a conspiracy theory right away. I was like, "This trend is." I said this trend is to politically disqualify a future generation of women. It's like a psyop. Turns out they were just fucking OnlyFans girls.
Yeah, they were.
Well,
just
it is different for something. I have a daughter, so it's pretty tough to like, you see these type of things, you just think differently about it. Now you're like, oh, this is fucking weird. Not really. Not that. I'm just praying over here in the corner. And
You're just hanging on
myself
for your life.
at night.
What the Andrew Tate looks like in 22 years from now. Donnie,
VR.
Pull up the and he's AI generated. Pull up the text thread and click this other one here that he sent me when I was younger.
When I was younger, Bariochum.
So it's a little boy, and he's just a regular little boy, smiling with his family, and it says "me when I was younger," and then at the end it says "me now," and it seems like the boy is not a boy now. It's a young lady with like the fattest ass, and a great, like, it looks like you wouldn't know from these. You'd have a very difficult time clocking this person. And Houston, Texas. They look like they got that. They look like they got that Houston, Texas BBL or something. But yeah, you see that, Donnie? Would you take that in?
Yeah, great. She looks great.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
This comments here, I wanted to share because I thought they were really. Someone says, "Yeah, obvious. I refuse to believe that's the same person." But I like this comment by Juan. He says, "I'm straight, but so is spaghetti till it get wet." Damn. The flame emoji. Juju, which is funny, their picture is a chihuahua with like a Bieber wig on. But anyways, it says, Juju says, "I'm hearing everyone out."
Isn't that your girlfriend?
Juju says, "I'm hearing everyone out," which is just jokes because it's like, wait, I hear what they got to say. And this person, Little Native Warrior, says, "Custom builds are better than stock." And the OP writes, "Facts, supercharged with heated interior."
Where do you think
it's a little graphic?
Where are the best comments? Where do you get the most laughs on all the platforms?
Reddit.
This is the best.
It used to be Reddit for me. It used to be Reddit because it was originally just like I would crack up, and I actually like the comment better than the post usually, but it doesn't make me laugh much these days. The humor is a type that I've just become so accustomed to. There's like, maybe once a week I'll get a good comment on Reddit, but like TikTok, it's going to sound bad, but like TikTok is mean. TikTok is very mean. Yeah. They are not nice on there. And the stuff that they say, there's just like really hardly any repercussions. No. So it's bad. And I think they really got to figure that out. But until they do, that is the best comment.
It slaps.
It really does. No, it's bad. You find yourself laughing. You're like, oof, that's mean. But it's just hard not to fucking crack up and have a nice chuckle to yourself. And I agree with you because, I fought the whole TikTok wave for a long time. And they just don't miss very often, those comment sections. That's for sure. You guarantee you get one laugh.
And now you've gone under, like you've been taken in.
I still rank like YouTube as my top place to go and consume content always. TikTok is like a little side quest that I'll do for about 5-10 minutes here and there. Maybe I'm looking for some inspiration, or just to
TikTok is like, if I need 10 minutes to burn, 10 minutes to burn, TikTok is going to fill that 10 minutes so perfectly.
Yes, but you have to be really intentional with your usage of it, or you can get sucked in for. I should be doing something. I should be reading in those 10 minutes. I should be reading like
20 pages of The Last Jew. You guys ever read that book?
No.
I'm reading it right now.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Wait, I never read it. I just saw you reading it.
Right.
So what's The Last Jew? Is it based on a movie starring Tom Cruise?
No. Maybe a future movie.
I wouldn't be
The Last
offended if there was a movie
Scientologist.
The Last Jew. The Last Jew starring Tom Cruise. I wouldn't be offended.
Starring Mel Gibson.
If there was a movie called The Last Jew starring Kanye West and it was coming out at the movie theater at midnight, I would go to the midnight release.
But for what? For
Yeah,
what
you would.
reason?
I'd be like, let's see this motherfucker. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he's talking about. It's an event.
Really for. Yeah.
I also want to go. I want to represent my people. I'd be like, we also are here and present. We will hear. I am here to let him cook on the big screen.
Yeah, Last Jew. It's about the Spanish Inquisition.
Last Jew. I'm talking about this Jew. The next
The future Jew. Yeah, Spanish Inquisition and the last Jew that's trapped in Spain, trying to not get killed by knights.
Sounds hype.
Look it up.
I feel like it's tough
It
to
is
sell
hype.
that book. The Last Jew. A lot of
Yeah,
people
no,
don't
it's
know.
so funny that he brought it up because this is not like it's a great book, but it's not like a book I'd be wrecking to everyone just mostly because the title is quite jarring.
The
I don't
Last
think
Jew.
People,
The
a lot of
Last
people walk
Jew.
away from that book. They're like,
Yeah.
this.
I only
Last Jew,
saw it.
yeah. But can you read The Last Jew? Like, if you didn't read the first Jew, will you still understand it?
Yeah, it doesn't. You can read them out of order.
You should be a dad, bro.
I know. My body thinks that's what's happening.
Yeah, I say that every time I do like a stupid joke or have a really good catch, like drop a glass and catch it before it hits the ground. It's like I'm at that age where that should have been a baby, but instead it's like an ashtray.
This is a little TMI. This is a little TMI, but I want everyone to know. I was like when you come into my home, if you look to the right, as soon as you walk in, the stairs go upstairs and there's a middle bathroom there. I didn't expect Donnie to pull up. So I was shitting and I was doing it with the door open. And that's the TMI. I don't normally do that. It's a whole other thing. We'll talk about it later. But I'm basically shitting in the middle of my house. And I'm there, and obviously I have my mustache, my hair's down, it's like curly, and like I just have like some like fucking old man baby hairs happening, and it's just an ugly scene, and I'm shitting in like a white like undershirt and like and I let Donnie in. He rings the doorbell, and I mess around. I'm like, oh, I'm shitting. And anyways, he comes in and he walks in, and I'm like, yo, and he looks up, and I'm in the middle of the house shitting, and he's like, what's up, Gastro Escobar? And I want you guys to know that it was like on the spot. He was not ready for it, but that was like an S tier call out because I'm shitting and I looked like Pablo Escobar. Anyway,
Yeah.
Gastro Escobar, and I was like 10 on 10, 10 on 10, S tier. Gastro Escobar, like that was good shit, and it's very accurate. I get that. I did get that a lot. There was a period where I was getting people would be like, "You look like Pablo Escobar in the Netflix show" for a while.
The flannels.
I've
The
had
flannels.
so many.
It was the button downs that really pushed it over the edge.
No, it's the hair to mustache to face
No.
contrast.
There was an era-
Oh,
there
I
an
was
era
so
in the last-
fat. I was so fat. I was like, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm gonna be fat. So I can just be any fat guy I want. And I just,
Are you worried
Yeah.
you're not going to be
Like,
that's
back
like?
I look
Are you worried
back
your
at some
jokes
of
aren't
these
gonna hit?
videos, and I'm like, what? I was like, what was that shirt? What'd you say?
Yeah, we'll flash some images on the screen of what you looked like then. Like, there's a couple really
I get
good
that
ones.
like blue and red, like purple,
Yeah.
like, big
Yeah.
moo type button down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you worried that
Like-
you're just not gonna be that like you're like 30%, 50% less funny now that as soon as you enter the world of being a fit guy now? Is that a concern?
Yeah, I'm
for
like,
you?
I'm not a fit guy. I'm just like a big person. It's like fine. I don't think I've gotten to the bad place yet, but like I think when the boxing match is going down, like I'm gonna be like for sure very unfunny. And to be
Like, people
funny at
won't-
that point, I have to make a decision. I'm gonna be like, do I have to regulate back to like my normal weight, or should I be really funny and get super huge? Like just lift and eat for size and just
on that
grow
corner.
from that point And that's very funny these days. I find that if someone's doing something and they have like a little shirt on and they're not human sized and they're pretending to be a funny human, but they're a big mutant, I find that funny. That's why I love the Trend Twins.
What is it, like intentional or unintentional? Listen, I love the Trend Twins.
They're there with like shirts. They have like those mock neck cut sleeve Under Armour shirt where it's like super tight and the neck goes up a bit and there's no sleeves. And that is like, actually, to me, I find that like the sexiest type of shirt or dress on a woman.
Okay.
It doesn't lose. And you guys know I'm straight. You know I'm straight.
Sure,
you obviously all know that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't lose the appeal seeing it on a Trend Twin. I'm like, fuck, he looks sexy in that.
I feel like we gotta
We're
get
keeping that in.
I was thinking I had a funny idea where I was like, we should just start making, like, the whole channel should just be, or like at least one series should be us making like really jacked dudes their cheat meal. Like that's it. Like we find super jacked dudes. Like, what's your favorite thing to eat? We go, we have like an interview with them. We talk to them. We sit down. We break it down. We have Chef Atari come in, you know, and then we like design the best cheat meal they could ever have. I'm like that.
And
like
then we'll be like, and then we'll eat it. We'll eat it, and then we'll be like, "Do you do coke?"
Bro, we could bring.
Be honest, you guys.
You're like, can you?
I want to know, yo, if there's a chance they're watching right now to the Trend Twins, do you guys sniff coke? Okay, what were you saying, Donnie?
I was gonna say we could bring Brendan Schaub and he could finally break his carnivore diet.
Bro, there's like a whole like comedy thing going on right now with those gangs. It was shared by that guy. It was shared, those comedy gangs. It was shared by I can't believe how much they're so similar to like YouTubers. I don't know why I never like saw the inner workings like this, but this is like some YouTuber shit. So what happened is this stand-up comedian
Okay.
This guy who was an MMA fighter in the UFC and had like somewhat of a career, and he had this podcast, and at some point his subreddit turned on him, his own subreddit, and it's a place where they just go and they basically bully him extensively. And if you like that type of stuff, you might find it like 10 on 10 super hilarious and entertaining and enjoyable to read. And it gives you this picture of this guy, Brendan Schaub. That's like this one-sided image of him if you were to go there and browse through all the postings and stuff like that. And he had worked with this guy, Brendan. And at one point, Brendan's dude, Mark, like had beef with Brendan. And so Mark went to this subreddit where they bully that guy. And he's been dropping some inside information, tea and stuff like that, and sharing things, and basically just, releasing a lot of information from his point of view. All that to say that he shared this incident between Brendan and Andrew Schulz, and I find Andrew Schulz very funny, like super funny. Do you guys find him funny?
I do find him funny, but you know what? I actually prefer his podcast to his stand-up. I think he's a funnier person than... Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm the other way around. I find on the podcast, my podcast is far superior. No, it's that he... they have a good time and it's fun, but they laugh a lot. There's like... It's like... Shit, I don't want to like critique the podcast on my podcast, not about that, but like I watch that, I find him very hilarious. I watch his Instagram clips or I'll see like stand up and I find it so funny. On the podcast, it's like it feels like everyone's trying to have like a sick Instagram reel highlight. It looks like everyone's trying to have a line, so it doesn't feel like a cool conversation with like a cool, really chill guy and his cousin and like one of his
about milkshakes.
Yeah, Shamrock Shake, not for me. Anyways, their podcast is great, regardless you're a fan. Anyways, so I find him funny. And this story was just really interesting. Basically, Mark said that Brendan had this idea to do a shoot for his brand, and he had this idea to have this. He basically hired Bruce Buffer to come in and narrate a part of the video for him to promote his stuff. And he paid like about $10K or something and cost $15K for the shoot, spent about $15K to shoot this video. And he was going to release it, but then apparently Andrew Schulz texted him, allegedly through this guy Mark, by the way, who was a disgruntled ex-employee of Brendan. This guy Mark texted him. Mark says that Andrew texted and then called Brendan being like, you can't release that video, that Bruce Buffer thing. He's been going around the country opening my shows. He's on my special. Like, don't do this. Like, that's my idea. You're taking my idea. And Brendan's like, no, that makes no sense. I've known him longer than you, you know. And Andrew allegedly was like, you don't want this smoke. And Brendan's like, what? I'll fucking beat you up and whoever you're with, bro. Because Brendan was UFC.
He said, put me on speaker. He said, put me on speaker. I'll kick your ass and everyone in that room's ass.
Yeah, and he was like, whoa. No, I didn't mean it like that. I just mean the comedy community is not going to be about you stealing jokes. And Brendan was like, I don't think they're going to back you on that. And this is where it got very YouTube for me. And I found this so fascinating. It was so funny.
They called like, Philip DeFranco.
Yeah, Brendan was like, I don't think everyone would side with you. And Andrew was like, this room does. And he had people in there, and Brendan goes in and asks like, you know, what they think about like in his King and the Sting room. And
Theo Vaughn and Crystalia.
Yeah, exactly. And Crystalia's like, nah, that's fucking stupid, Schulz. And Theo, and this apparently is, Mark confirms is an absolute quote for sure. He said, man, fuck Andrew Schulz.
That made me laugh.
So,
such a good
me too. I actually ended up
hilarious.
I actually DM'd him today, and I never do this. I messaged him and I was like, can I be on your podcast? And I like never do that. Really, that's like a rarity. Like I'm
right.
Like I have too much podcasting happening. Anyways, but just because I find him funny and I want to talk to him. So anyways, like, yeah, we'll figure this out. We need to go to Joe Rogan, and we're gonna ask his opinion. And whatever he says goes. So they go to Joe Rogan, like as if I had to go to Mr. Beast to settle a fucking score with Smosh or some shit. And they go, and Joe Rogan's like actually had a perfect solution that worked out. He was just like, yeah, I don't know. You're asking Brendan to do something he doesn't want to do, but I see your point of view. So how about Brendan doesn't air the promo, and Schulz, you pay him $15K for production costs. Apparently they agree, and apparently Schulz allegedly hasn't paid Brendan yet. This comes from this guy Mark, who is a disgruntled ex-employee or someone who worked with Brendan at one point. I was just like, wow, that's so like, it's you know, I know what it's like at one point to feel away with your brand, and I'm sure all of those guys, I'm sure all of their brands are probably doing very well right now. You know, to one extent or another, they must be doing quite well. And I remember what it's like when your brand is doing well and you want to protect it in ways. You do shit like, you know, Lynch, you were there with me once. I filmed something, and these girls wanted me to sign a release of something I just filmed, and I said, not until I see a cut. And they were like kind of trying to like beef me into signing a document that I was like, not until I see an edited cut. And like, I knew that like it wasn't a big deal, but you just don't fuck around with stuff like that. So he was maybe being overly protective, like being like, that's my bit. And maybe, and I don't know the community of stand-up comedians, but from what I've always heard, that it is super, like there's tons of unwritten rules and things like that in that space. And I met a couple of these guys like in one encounter or another. I don't know them at all, but I never pictured them to be beefing over like basically just like an upload. Don't worry about the up. No one's going to see that. Who's going to see that and think like,
right.
And then who's going to see that video on Instagram because they follow him, or on his YouTube, and then also be in Denver or whatever at your show, and then also be like, hey, Bruce Buffer here and there? No, someone sucks. Like it wouldn't even play out like that.
Right.
So I was just surprised that there was like a sensitivity to this whole scenario. And then I was blown away that they went to Joe Rogan like Big Daddy Rogan to figure it out. It's like, I don't even know why there's like two fucking like bands here, two like RPG squads, like each going.
Well, it's because
it's like this shit could just be like two people on the phone call.
It's also because Schaub went on the Flagrant podcast and Schulz hit him with the with the truck walk.
Yeah, you're going in very deep into the lore now. So guys, so you know, just to keep it super simple, Schulz had Brendan on his podcast and brought something up that's like probably like a like one of the bigger moments that have happened on that subreddit. And it's like a real thing, like a real allegation of a thing, and it's like a whole. It was just like, if that guy's your friend, and I know how these guys work with their friends, I've seen it to an extent. Like, you don't bait your boy's scene out like that, you know?
Right.
They don't. I'm saying like in their circle. So it looked like, oh, that they might not be that friendly for this to happen, and that's what set people off to kind of push for this information. But we're in really deep now on this subreddit that literally focuses on bullying some guy.
Yeah. Anyway,
which listen, if you're the type of person that like that stuff doesn't bother you, you would like, if you're like a sicko, you would probably find it very hilarious, very funny, super entertaining, and a great way to spend your time.
I'm on the record, man. I'm on the record on this podcast as being homeless as fuck, but I actually side with Schaub, and a lot of the people on that subreddit are more on Schaub's side of this whole Andrew Schulz disagreement.
I can't express how badly you have to fuck up for that place to take his side. I've never seen that place.
They really are. They really are, because
but doesn't that go to show you? Doesn't that go to show you though that there might be as much as all this, and it could be warranted, that there's a whole other aspect to a person that you would never hear about or know about.
But I mean, I think you left out an important detail, is that, so Rogan said, yeah, okay, Schulz, you pay for it, and Schaub, you don't release it, but then Schulz stiffed him on the payment.
I did say that.
Oh, did you?
I said the word allegedly before, because everything comes from a person. You know?
Right. It's
not that I don't believe it or
it's
anything.
all hearsay.
I'm telling everyone, like, you know, I'm just passing along the information here.
Right. That's it. We don't even really know if that fucking mint milkshake exists. We're just passing on the information that we came by. None of us have witnessed.
I think there was an update to this actual incident, because people were kind of
okay.
Like, well, you're saying like allegedly, yeah, because this is just one person's perspective, right? They're remembering a conversation and a thing that happened, and I think maybe Schulz was painted a little too heavy-handed in it, according to the update. I'd have to go back and like rewatch what it was, but I was just watching.
He said he would delete his account if he's wrong.
Who said
the
that?
guy that made
Mark?
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. No, he showed a screen. He actually, the funniest part about it is that like he still has access to like their like back end, like Twitter and some of
yeah.
And
he showed a screenshot of Bruce
and like
Buffer.
showed a screenshot of the video, because he still has access to like their internal whatever Dropbox or whatever.
I don't know if he should be stealing like that.
He literally,
I thought the same thing.
He laughed when he's like, "Sue me, I dare you." Like, I don't care. Like, he like, I don't give a shit. So I think it's the funniest. The only thing I find fun.
I wouldn't say do this. I wouldn't say do this. But can you call the cops on someone for that?
I'm thinking you might be able to. That's what when he said sue me, I was thinking you might not have.
I know, but you have to consider the situation.
Call the police.
You posted evidence of IP theft. So
he's already gotten.
You know, I wouldn't dial 911, but you could definitely email some sort of fraud department or something and be like, "Hey,
not worth your time.
This is actually illegal.
It's not worth your time." The reality is,
it's like petty. It's petty, but Mark's being petty too. Even though we're all, the subreddit's benefiting from it, but it is petty.
Oh, this is like, you guys must be pigs and shit on this one, man. Like, this is just like golden nugget after golden nugget fucking coming out, all the inside
right
info,
and like we keep saying that this is like a bully subreddit, and I'm saying, oh yeah, I find it so funny, but it's not just
I think the funniest part about it is
there's some verifiable claims against Schaub for doing bad
stuff
things.
I enjoyed about it,
intentions.
stuff that I thought was interesting about it specifically, was how like oblivious to the internet it seems like Schaub is being through the whole like Bobby Lee situation, like all that stuff leading up to it. And like, I don't want to get into specifics with that because it's like, this is the whole lore of it. This is kind of where it all started and like became totally off the rails for me, at least, where I got caught up on it. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was already at like 60,000, 80,000 members at that point.
Yeah, but that was,
was already huge.
A shot of fucking Trent in the fucking ass right there when that happened. Like,
that was
twin brother in an abandoned staircase.
But you know, we actually we did a video recently, and it was more for just jokes. It was just like a funny video where we compared and contrasted another channel that like made the same things that we made like after the fact. You know, and we're not, I mean, my opinion, I don't sit around, that doesn't bother me. Like, I don't sit around being like, oh man, like fuck those guys. I'm more fascinated by the idea that like someone takes the exact same idea, presents it in a different way, and 25 million people watch it. I'm like, what? Right. And then like you do the exact
You're saying
same thing
with the lasagna?
No, I'm saying that we did a video where there's like this channel that just started a whole show called like Making Big Food, essentially, right? Which was targeted probably to a completely different demographic. And like if you line it up, they just pretty much are making the exact same things we did, like months later.
And shot for shot.
Not shot for shot, because it's a different show. I just found it funny because like it would get like you know, the same meal concept, and like one would get like, you know, I don't know, whatever, 150, 250,000 views, and one would get 25 million views. And I just like look at that and like, that's so interesting to me. It's so funny that like you can have the exact same idea. I know you're presenting it differently, and that part I understand. Like, you know, people may be invested in the character involved in that thing or whatever. Like, you know, they just buy into it. But I was just like, I don't know. I don't take that stuff personally. I don't look at them like, oh, fuck them. I'm like, the internet kind of me is like, it's all in the game, kind of, in my opinion. You know, I don't know how you feel, Harley, but
yeah, see, but that's a thing that I've been used to, like to one extent or another. But what I haven't been used to, and like to what you're saying, like that, like it didn't fuck me up, but I was just like, that's a difference in the level of YouTubers today versus when I was doing it. Is when I saw this guy Eric make the world's largest pizza, and it like was something so easily doable by like Epic Mealtime to an extent back then, and even they had Guinness World Records come out and do that. And I remember like we were like looking at that, we're like, Guinness wants 10K to come check out a thing, like if we're gonna try and beat a world record.
You gotta pay them. You gotta pay them to like file.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we gotta pay 10K. Like, I don't know about that. Like, you know, and then like the world's largest pizza, like this guy doing it, and it's like a Pizza Hut ad. Yeah, right, bro. Back in the day, trying to convince Pizza Hut to give you the money to do a stunt like this with like a waste of food. Back then, like they would not, like companies were so cautious about like mass consumption and what it would look like. These days, they're just like, fuck it, it's a YouTube video. So it's like this Pizza Hut ad, 9.7 million views in 3 weeks. The world's largest pizza, 132 feet. Guinness World Records, fucking little cocksuckers are in the comments like, yummy. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like that's the new shit. That's like the shit that like,
how do you cook
if
that?
we had to do it, we'd have to like, that's the level you'd have to compete. That's a direction Epic Mealtime would have had to go. Or like you could have hopped on maybe the mukbang trend at a certain point and surfed that, you know, but it wouldn't have been as
Amir's Instagram is the mukbang trend.
Amir's Instagram is sicko mode.
Yeah.
Sickening. Goblin mode 24/7. Goblin Hut. He's a Goblin Hut buffet. Amir is out of control.
Dude, when you got back from wrestling the other day, he posted 6 Big Macs. I was like, what the fuck?
Not only that,
happened?
but the next morning when I got back from wrestling, where he was sitting in the back was 2 double cheeseburger wrappers like right between his legs. So he had 2 double cheeseburgers.
He slammed him
like right behind my head while I'm driving home.
He had 2 on the drive home and took home 6.
When we have Amir come on the show, inevitably, I have to put this out there because I want to talk to him about this very badly, because he has this move
I can't wait, man.
that fucks me up beyond anything. And I thought he was the only guy who did it. And then I found out my brother-in-law does it, and it really tripped me out. He buys McDonald's and then puts it in the fridge for the next day. And he did that. He used to do that all the time. Like we'd be filming epic meals and we'd order fucking 100 burgers or something like that. And he would like have a whole plan about how he's going to save X burgers and he'd eat them over like the next couple of days. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, I'm buying fast food. That food is being consumed as quickly as possible. It's called fast food. Like it's eaten fast. It's done. It exists for the moment. Goodbye. Peace. I don't want to think about it again. Like I beat that game now. It's over. Okay. Saving it for the next day.
It's like a rare Japanese flower that blooms once every 100 years. Like this shit is only good in the bag, bro.
I've pulled out a McChicken. Like, my brother-in-law pulled a McChicken.
I gotta eat it out of the bag.
I gotta tell you, like McDonald's keeps. It is the only fast food, and I've had the experience working with fast food and seeing it 2 hours after, 4 hours after, 6 hours, 10 hours in a fridge, out of the fridge, what it looks like coming out of a freezer. Out of all the meals we've done, I've taken burgers out of the freezer and we've put it in and deep fried it and like eaten it from like there's so many things. And a McDonald's burger,
not terrible.
McDonald's burger, the worst thing about it, and it's what's gross is like it's not that bad because it tastes the exact same. It almost feels the same. But when a McDonald's burger is kept in the fridge, it becomes one more than ever. You would not be able to separate any of the ingredients without any of the ingredients being molded into the ingredients next to it. It becomes like a compact disc of a burger, and like nothing is altered about it except how like the softness of the meat and the bun ratio is a little off, but everything else is almost identical. And I'm not saying do it. You shouldn't do it. But if I have a double cheese sitting on my counter that I didn't finish, like in my fat days, I would put it in the fridge. If I had a leftover hot dog from like La Belle or like a burger from a Whopper, that's not going in the fridge. We're done here. But
I
McDonald's
don't fucking believe you for
science,
1
bro.
second. You're a liar.
We did this.
I don't fucking believe you.
We did this.
There's no way you're putting.
We would bring them from camp. They kept them in the fridge at camp.
No.
I was gonna say like, and because at camp it was because you did an outing to go, and for Amir it's the same thing. Amir's nothing if not a pragmatist, and he's never been a dude that was really driving around much. So if he's gonna make the drive and go to the McDonald's, he's gonna make sure he gets enough that he doesn't have to go back tomorrow. Or
yeah, he was after. Also, he told me, he was like, oh yeah, this coupon or this thing, Uber, it's 50% or 2 for 1. He's like, and he used this word that's not a good word to use, but he said he did that to them. Short R.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I believe him.
And I was there and I was like, bro.
You're like, take it easy.
Yeah. I was like, you fucking lower your voice.
He's speaking of fast food, how did you feel about the Arby's fucking creation that went down this week? Because we've been circling this Arby's conversation for a long time. I've never had Arby's before. You've never had Arby's. We've covered the fact that we've driven by many Arby's and been like, no, that's fucking weird, dude.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was delicious. What was really like ugly is like we do this like at the end of epic meals more often than not is we save it. So like Amir took this cheesy roast beef and like put it in like a freezer bag like filled up, and Sirius took that home, and like it was on the counter like sitting there like just a fucking big Ziploc bag filled with beef flaps and cheese in it. And like I was
and he's like, I'll give it a good home.
I'm holding it up and I was like, bro, do not forget this on your way out. I do not want to see this on the kitchen table.
Now more than ever, that makes the most sense right now. Because all you see is that? Like I get that. I understand taking home that roast beef and that cheese because food is so astronomically high right now. The cost of groceries is insane. Like now more than ever is the time to be taking that stuff back because it really is.
Bro, he took home like he took $100 worth of roast beef.
Yeah,
$100 worth of roast beef.
Epic Meal Time is now like $50 like a few years ago.
What?
Epic Meal Time is now like a non-profit that feeds hungry people.
Hey, listen, you're damn right it's a non-profit. ain't 2013 anymore, boy. Let me tell you. There's a reason I'm on the mic right now. It's not nonprofit. Okay.
I
should have just said that joke. I should have said that joke
too loud.
I should have just said that joke confidently instead of just doing that whole bit. Let me tell you, Big Mealtime is a nonprofit. It's a little alt there. That's a little alt for you. Keep them both in though.
Do you ever? Yeah, people.
What?
No, you know, we go through the comments. You know, we read all of them. People are 99% like positive, you know. But I always catch these guys being like, "Oh, you fell off, bro." How? Like, what's your take on that? Like, do you agree when people say that? You're like, "Yeah, you're right, man," you know? Or are you like, because my take, I'll just quickly say to me, like, I go, it's like, dude, like, we're providing you with what I would say is like enjoyable, fun times. It's like, if you don't want to watch it, just don't watch then. Like, why you gotta come in here and kill the vibe? It's like unnecessary. That's my take. But like, you're free to do what you want. We don't delete comments. Like, I don't sit around deleting comments. Like, I don't give a shit. If you want to talk shit, let the commenters handle that themselves. Let people in there decide themselves what they like or don't like. But like, there's, you know, it's like there's other things that go on. It's like the reality is like we just don't necessarily get distribution, you know, which isn't anyone's fault. It's just kind of, I mean, maybe it's our fault for not posting for long periods.
Yeah, you're always, it's always up to you. I always think your content, it's always up to you for sure. But the fact that like getting distribution or not is sometimes, like I said earlier on, it is a curated thing to an extent sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I also think that a lot of people will look at something and let the views determine whether they like it or not. I'm an extremely professional YouTube watcher, a better YouTube watcher than creator. And you should see some of the videos I watch that have like 3,000 views.
Yeah.
Like some insane videos. I'm subjected to them on the regular.
Exactly. Like I watched some shit that's like 3,000 views. And I know people won't even click something with 3,000 views because they've decided that it's not worth. I'll be honest with you. On my recommended page on my account, on my TV, I get like a lot of lower view content. And I think at some point YouTube was like, this guy's on things. Let's see what he thinks about this video before we push it out to the algorithm. I feel like I'm part of like a first 1% of viewers of certain things that are popping a bit. Like if you have a channel and your subscribers like it, I think YouTube's going to send it to me. I'm the KeyMaster.
You're the focus group.
I'm the KeyMaster. I'm the KeyMaster, bro.
Me too.
Come outside. Him too. Yeah. Sometimes. Him too. Sometimes. He's assistant to the KeyMaster. No, but I think that like I do get fed a lot of low count things, and I think like sometimes an epic meal will come out, and I know people are like not even haters or whatever, they're just fucking dumb, because someone will come and be like, wow, this only has 2,000 views, and it's an epic meal that came out like an hour ago, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like your comment is wrong in 10 minutes when the views refresh again.
Right. I find it always a funny take for someone to be like, hey, this is different now, which means it's bad. And so you're like, hey, I made up my mind about what kind of content you made 12 years ago, and it's up to you to keep it the exact fucking same as I remember it, or it's not good anymore. It doesn't make sense. The person making this comment, it's like, rewind your life 12 years and tell me you're the exact same person.
I have things like that, things that I'm just like, I recognize that I'm like, oh yeah, for sure this is a little different, but most importantly, I'm different. This is not for me now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which Epic Mealtime there was always a decision. You could skew younger at a certain point, get the younger audience as they come up. You know, who's always been really good at that? Shane Dawson as a creator. That guy like knew how to get the next wave and bring them up, and like, you know, or, you know, I could have grown with my audience and done something like, you know, maybe if I was, you know, had a kid years ago and I was doing a family vlog, someone would have been following along for that years ago. But I just like doing what I like doing, and I like having fun, and I like looking, and these days for the last few years, like especially after like taking time off, like, you know, coming to Montreal after taking time off during pandemic. Making the videos are so fun and funny, and they look funny, and I like them and I enjoy them. And I always get this like sense of accomplishment uploading a video. When a video is done, it's like another piece of art completed, and no one will take that from us. And I do like that. And sometimes, you know, wasn't worth it. The money didn't equal out, or we were in the red on it, or the views were shit, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, we made art and we put it out there. That's what I like doing as a job. That's my favorite job. I think that like with this too, even this, like, you know, I wouldn't be like, this is art, but under the umbrella of entertainment, this is the type of things I like doing. I like doing this. I like streaming. And there was a time, and I seen other YouTubers, people that make their thing for people, regardless of how much money they have. Like, there are people that will never be satiated. And as long as it's not fucking food, I do find satisfaction with certain things, or I do feel satiated, and I still have ambitions and goals and things that I want to do. But I see YouTubers bend over backwards to fill this void, to keep up with the views, and a view count is fleeting. It's not always going to be there. So to attach your happiness or your mood to that, I think is always a recipe for disaster. All right. Well, that 2-hour episode isn't happening today. Soon though. Love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Trust no one except us. Shout out to Big Lynch and Donnie Duckett's holding it down with me. This was the Binge Eater Podcast. Leave us a comment, a rating, a review. Share this episode with your friends if you liked it. And yeah, trust no one, just us.